much information did you actually take in today? And a few years back, that made me think, a few years back things was much simpler, and this is way before my time, but I found a few pictures from our company way back when. And this just reminds us of how different things were. Look at that scrunchie, ooh. And the call center, and this is how they used to present. And it wasn't until some legends came along and made our lives so much easier. And can you imagine your life today without PowerPoint? Or Excel, or Word? It wasn't, and this guy, he's the biggest culprit of them all. Sir Henry, he created the internet. But then Facebook came along, and that even changed our lives even more. To think of how we used to now, we socialize over Facebook. We even do advertising and research over Facebook. But the last guy, he's my favorite, Steve Jobs. What he had the ability to take arts and science, merge the two to create perfection. Now think of it. He was a little bit like Leonardo da Vinci, who also had the ability to take the science of engineering, keep the purity of that, combine it with art to create perfection. Now this is exactly what we need to do in the world. We need to keep the purity of information and the data and the information, merge it with art to create communication perfection. But we're sitting with a little bit of a problem here. This is the researcher. And that's the rest of the world, who does not understand the researcher. And I believe there are many like you, and I don't ever understand them. But luckily I've learned how to. And that's where art comes in. We can take that purity of the emotion, combine it with art. Now, but let's look at how Steve did it in Pixar Studios. Now, here's a live example of art and science combined. Now, the original Pixar Studios was designed with 3 different buildings. Your finance guys, artists, developers. Now, can you imagine to get those guys to collaborate and work together to create these amazing pictures that we see on TV? So he said that this place should only have 1 bathroom. And that forced people to actually get up, collaborate with other cultures to create that perfection. Now here's another example, and this is actually the truth, because it says that we do eat what we see. Our company, some years back, we did a study on chips. And the client wanted to change their packets of chips from an illustrated cheese to a photograph of a cheese. And what we did is we packaged the exact same chip in the 2 different packages, sent it out in the market, and there is the questionnaire, and the question was, how does the chip taste? And respondents came back and said that the chip tastes overwhelmingly cheesy in another packet. Now color is psychological. Pink is said to be your most romantic color, and it is said that sports teams expose their opponents to pink in order to make them lose energy. I don't know if it works, and they've lost the game. And in contrast to that, yellow is your most energetic color. And I won't keep that one up for long, hopefully, because it said that yellow triggers aggression, and you do not want to paint your offices yellow. Don't do that. Now the next slide is, you're going to see 3 words on the slide. I want you to imagine a movie for each. Now the first one you're probably thinking, Julia Roberts. Second one, Al Pacino. But try and imagine a movie for the third one, and see how important fonts are to create that story in your mind. Although it's the exact same words. Now look at this slide, and just absorb the pictures and the words. Isn't it amazing how one picture and one word can create a whole different story in your mind that you remembered from childhood? Now what I've done is, I've put this into practice. This, sorry the researchers in the house, this is a happy place. Lots of data, lots of graphs, lots of charts, and the bullet points that Sam said are so boring. What I've done is, I've taken all this information and packaged it in one single slide. Easy to absorb, it's sustainable, and it's easy to communicate. It's the exact same information, just taken out the SKUs and the most important information on one slide. Now I want to hereby invite you. Oh, one more slide. I want to, let's build a little cocktail for creativity to help us all. And this is inspired by John Hunt. It's a dash of passion, a splash of freedom, loads of positivity, shaken, not stirred, because creativity does not happen in hierarchies. And most of all, and most important, no habits. So I want to hereby invite you all to join us in the next generation of information delivery. And let's get that information and articles a little bit more funky and creative and sustainable. Thank you very much.